Hey, let's try this again. Here we are on Facebook Live. Don't you love modern technology? I just wanted to send a quick message to you. You know, tax day is on April 17th this year. So we're a little early, but the good news is you're already seeing a higher take-home pay, lower withholding due to the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, a very successful piece of legislation we passed at the end of last year here in Washington. I am Jason Lewis, your representative from Minnesota 2. Glad to be here in Washington fighting to let you keep more of what you earn. That's really what the Tax Cut and Jobs Act was all about. But there's more good news. A year from now, when you do your taxes, you'll have a brand new code with a massive new increase in the standard deduction. Now, what does that mean? It means a flatter, simpler, fairer tax code. You won't have to itemize next year because your standard deduction for a family of 4 and 2 CD goes from $12,000 to $24,000. A big increase for single folks too. So instead of taking that itemized deduction for mortgage interest or state and local taxes, you can just take a standard deduction and actually get a bigger break. That's why 90% of the people right now are seeing more take-home pay in the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. You're seeing that right now, but the new law takes effect next year. So this is the last year you'll be burdened under the old tax code. Look, we've engineered a tax code for economic growth, and we're already starting to see that. That benefits everybody, as a rising tide of growth means more take-home pay, more businesses hiring, higher wages. That's what this is all about. You know, today I'll vote on a balanced budget amendment. And the opponents of that, think about that for a moment. Everybody, businesses, families, states, have to make certain their budgets balance. They don't spend more than they take in. Why shouldn't the federal government? Now, the opponents of this bill, which we will vote on soon, will say, oh, goodness gracious, you can't have a tax cut with a balanced budget amendment. Well, taxes aren't the problem. The fact is, or tax revenue, I should say, isn't the problem. We're raising record amounts of tax revenue, about $3.25 trillion. The CBO even admitted tax revenue will go up every year for the next 10 years. No, the problem is spending, and the best way to rein that in is, of course, a balanced budget amendment and spending reduction across the board. As I say, the opponents of the balanced budget amendment will say tax cuts cause deficits. Tax cuts don't cause deficits, they cause growth. Spending causes deficits. So I just wanted to give you the good news on taxes going forward. You're seeing more money in your take-home pay right now. You're going to see more economic growth. The Atlanta Fed has already predicted higher levels of growth for this year than last year. Remember, in the previous administration, the previous couple of administrations actually, we had record low levels of economic growth, and President Obama raised taxes. We're cutting taxes, seeing more growth, and now we're going to vote for a balanced budget amendment. That's the way to restore fiscal sanity in Washington, and I'm proud to do that on behalf of the citizens of the 2nd District of Minnesota. In fact, the citizens, the families in the 2nd District, who will all receive about a $3,100 tax cut from our Tax Cut and Jobs Act. So enjoy the more take-home pay this year, and next year at Tax Day, enjoy filling out a simpler, flatter, and fairer tax return. I'm Jason Lewis here in Washington, your representative in Minnesota 2.